Les, I did not realize your name was way up at the top. I'm not
That's
overlooking you.
That's it. I know Mike. Now don't tell me that. I know Mike. Am I up?
Yes, yes, sir. You're the only one left on the list.
All right.
I'm going to give you guys a little different objective here tonight. I want to give you guys a little idea of who you're talking to rather than just thinking I'm somebody out of the blue that's come in here to cause you grief over something. I've dealt with our family's owned a heavy equipment construction company, and I've worked in that company for 48 years. In that 48 years, I've worked with the EPA, I've worked for the EPA, and I've worked in relations to demolition jobs that involve the EPA. So I have a lot of knowledge of EPA rules and regulations. That's why I've been able to counter everything that you've come up with. Second thing that I have a lot of experience at is since 1994, I've done federal government and state government contracts, okay? Binding contracts. And I've had butted heads with the federal government on my last one, and I won. Because I do the best I can to cross my T's and dot my I's, okay? When I came here over a year and a half ago, my understanding was that this board suspended the dumpster program under the pretense that it was illegal. And I truly at that time believed that. Once I give you written documentation from the EPA that said contrary to that, and you failed to reinstate the dumpster program, then my thought process went a different direction. Okay? Then, when you know it's legal and you haven't done it, why? The other thing is I want you to understand that this dumpster program I've used maybe 3-4 times in 40 years. Okay? So I'm not here for me. In my township and my road commissioner, I see 70 and 80-year-old people on fixed incomes that come to put their material in the dumpsters. I watch my road commissioner assist them in putting it in. Okay? I watch camaraderie. Okay? The implication I'm getting with legal documentation that it's legal and you not reinstating it tells me you don't care about it. That's the impression I've got. Okay? Now, let's address the county, the road commissioners. Okay? The legal procedure for what you should have done without the contract is that those townships should have had a well-publicized meeting on the dumpsters, got the response from those people, and brought them to you what the people wanted, not what they wanted. Now, on their behalf, what I found out with the list you gave me, and I didn't talk to all of them, Mr. Kelly went to these road commissioners, told them there was no funds, they're depleted, they're out, they're empty. You're going to have to put a fence around it. You're going to have to get a permit, and you're going to have to stay with the dumpsters until they're picked up. Okay? Now, my road commissioner, which he did not talk to, tells me that in the contract, which I haven't been able to read it, I love to read it, says that the dumpster has to be picked up same day. Okay? Now, if that dumpster has to be picked up same day, the responsibility of the county and the road commissioner is only until the end of the day. If they fail to pick that dumpster up at the end of the day, anything that happens to that dumpster after that falls on Allied Waste for failure to fulfill the contract. Okay? This is why I'm telling you, because I've got experience in this, folks. If that's what the contract says, that's what I've been told. Okay? On the road commissioners, if I was told everything that Mr. Kelly told them, I wouldn't want it back either. Not that their voice isn't important, and I don't mean to degrade the road commissioners because they do an excellent job, but it's been part of their job for 40 years. Okay? Asking a road commissioner after he's been told what he's been told if he wants to take the dumpsters back if they were re-implemented is like asking a janitor if he doesn't want to clean toilets anymore. It's his job. It's been his job. It's part of his job. Okay? He's there for the people, not himself. Okay? So that addresses the issue of the road commissioners. Okay? Now, having said that, unbeknownst to me, they aired on Facebook last month's thing. The response was a few thousand people. They weren't happy. If the newspaper did their job and reported that you had legal documentation that says that the dumpsters are legal, you probably wouldn't have enough room in this courtroom for the people out of the rural area, let alone the municipalities that use those dumpsters. If he reported that you were rebound to the contract because you had legal documentation, you probably wouldn't have room in this courtroom for the people that would be in here climbing up you guys' behinds. I'm sorry. You're here for the people. Now, the other thing that I was asked, and I'm sorry, I didn't understand it, but after it was explained to me, was to ask for a formal vote. I guess I can request it. I don't know. Maybe I can't. On the dumpster program. I said, that ain't going to be good. The people that asked me said, yes, it will. Because we will know what board members are for the people and what board members are for their private agenda. Now, here's my opinion. Okay? Mr. Kelly is the one that brought this up. Whether he was asked by board members to do it, I don't know. Mr. Kelly went to the road commissioners and told them all of this. Mr. Kelly has done this. Mr. Kelly has done that. Why has Mr. Kelly done that? Why are you looking into something that 40 years has never been approached or cited by the EPA? You don't think? I mean, is there anybody here that thinks those EPA people are stupid? Okay, they aren't. If you were breaking the law, they'd have been on your ass before 40 years. Okay? They weren't. Why were they looking into the legalities of it? I was told it was because they were looking into stuff about the recycling program. They're separate entities. They aren't tied together. Okay? Now, Mike, I think you told me the recycling program qualifies for those funds, doesn't it?
It qualifies for solid waste management, I believe that's the way it's phrased.
So now, if you were in my position, what would you think? What do you think the people are going to think? I'm going to try to resolve the issue with the newspaper, if they'll print my letter to the editor, because it ain't getting done. Should be, but it ain't. Evidently, they don't care about the people, or they'd have reported it. Okay? They've got a good leg to stand on. There's a lot of evidence otherwise. Is there anybody here that can tell me and justify to me why it hadn't been re-implemented? Can you?
I don't want to get necessarily into that, but one thing you're saying, it wasn't illegal what we're doing. We've talked plenty of times over this issue,
Yep.
and I've told you I would like to see something done with it. But the simple fact is we are only, and your email to me, we're only allowed to have it once a year.
No.
A dumpster. With an option, I know there's an option there, but it says with agency approval, note that the agency usually limits one-day collections to hazardous and non-standard waste. In your email. So we're looking at a possibility once. So it was not appropriate what we were doing before. Am I correct or not?
No, you're incorrect. Okay? You didn't read it all. The other stipulation was in part of it, 1 per year per site. Okay?
And we were doing it
Mr.
at the same
Hobart
site
told me,
before, correct?
Mr. Hobart,
Did you have the dumpster at the same site at your township?
prior to, but that's compliance. That's not making the dumpster program illegal. That's management problem. In other words, you come into compliance. Out of compliance and being illegal is two different things. Okay? You correct it by making it in compliance. The townships have the right to have however many dumpsters they want if they have multiple sites to have it on. Okay? Or on the same site, you are correct, once, but with special permission, 4 times. Okay? So you have an avenue there to correct the issue without taking it completely away from them. You have options, right?
I mean, technically you'd have an option of allowing it at least once. I'm a little hesitant on the 4 times, but yeah, at least once.
I can make a phone call for you if you aren't willing to make it. I'll make it.
I've got some emails with
Because it says it doesn't have to be in writing. They said it can be a verbal agreement to allow 4 dumpsters. I would rather have it in writing. I wouldn't want to just take their word, but it says just approval. But has the board even looked into even using those options? You know you can do it. Okay? And I penciled it out if you were able to do it on the old program. The money would be real close to the end of the contract if it hadn't been suspended. It may not have made it to complete, but it would have been very close. With the dumpsters, with the township road commissioners cost share. Okay? Then which they were, it would have been close. I'm not asking you to do something that's illegal, but I'm also going to tell you that there was no reason to look in it. The EPA in the next 2 years was not going to come in and cite you. If they hadn't done it in 40 years, they weren't going to do it. Okay? There was a reason that somebody did it. They were looking for a reason to suspend the program. And I'm not saying it's you. I'm just saying somebody was. But why? Because why would you? If you hadn't had any incidents.
The only thing I can think is to extend the program.
Yeah.
I mean, whether it be, several times a year, countywide pickup.
Well,
to
even
extend
if,
it for
to be
multiple
honest
years.
with you, even if you had them quarterly, which is what, 3 times a year? Or 4, whatever you're allowed, 3 or 4 a year, and quarterly, the people would probably still be, and I'm sorry, but there are people out there that do need them, okay?
What do they do with their trash? If it was once a quarter, what are they doing with their trash for 3 months?
Well, I can tell you what the elderly people are gonna do. They're on fixed incomes, they're gonna save it. That's why those dumpsters were filled in 2 to 3 hours after they hit the floor. When they hit the ground, those people have them dumpsters filled in 2 to 3 hours, okay?
But we're
At
also-
least where I'm at, they do.
But there's people making money off of that. There's people cleaning out people's sheds, barns, charging them, holding on to it and waiting for these dumpsters and coming in and dumping it.
So you're gonna penalize the people that don't because of
No, I'm
what?
just saying though, but there's people profiting off this and
What situation doesn't have that kind of, that kind of involvement, okay? Do you end all of them because of bad apples?
no, but.
You know what I'm
just-
saying?
No, I'm just asking though how, and again, you have people that, you said that there were people coming in from these, the people that own the profiting from this. Well, there's people that pay for their trash next door to some of these people. I mean, but yet some people are able, they get free trash then, correct? If they're gonna hold on to it for 3 months and
Yeah.
then come dump it here.
So what do you do, now, here's the question. If you don't have the money to pay for them for that trash pickup, what do you do with your trash? The road commissioners can tell you what they do with it.
Is it getting worse? I have not heard any, I mean, I haven't heard.
Oh,
the road
yeah,
commissioner
oh,
come in
yeah, I
with
just heard from
complaints.
one of the road commissioners that was telling me what Mr. Kelly told me.
It's Mr.
They-
Lockhart,
they-
Kelly Lockhart.
They were telling me about picking up bicycles and this and that and everything just a couple of weeks ago. Said it was a whole mile long of stuff that was dumped. That they didn't have that problem before the program was ended. So yes, it's still occurring. I've got property that some stuff's been dumped on my property on a dirt road that goes through, it's up 100 and stuff.
I know some of the road commissioners I heard did say it got better. I'm not saying it did everywhere, but I've heard they had problems the first couple weeks. The people that didn't realize it was closed, had a truck full, decided to dump it somewhere, but have not seen an issue yet. And that is actually one of the things they told me. We don't want to bring it back because we don't want to have to go through that several week period where everything's back again.
Well, I know that it's not completely ended because I just was told about it happening. And I know that my road commissioner says it's still happening in our township. So in your
Yeah,
district, it's still happening. Yeah, you can talk to Doug on that issue,
Okay.
on stuff. And like I said, I'm here because I do care about the people. And I care about the elderly that can't afford the trash. And I've watched them come, and I'm talking people in their 70s and 80s. You know what I'm saying? And you were looking at a 2-year contract anyway that was going to end, okay? And it frustrates me that it couldn't be, as there was no problem at all, that you just couldn't wait for that 2 years. And the only reason I can think that you couldn't wait for, somebody couldn't wait those 2 years is because somebody wanted that money before it was depleted. That's what it looks like, okay? That's what it looks like, okay? So that's what I wanted to let the board know, that I'm not just an individual that doesn't know what I'm talking about, okay? I've got experience in both, and I'm not here for myself. And like I said, the reason they asked for the vote on it, asked me to ask for a vote on it, was because they wanted to identify the board members that did not want to reinstate the program. Whether you can do that or not at another later date, that's up to you. I was just asked to ask.
Obviously, we can't do anything tonight because it was not on
Right,
the
no,
agenda.
I understand. It wasn't on the agenda, and if it can't be done, that's fine. I don't know. I had somebody else telling me that it could be requested. That's just not up to me. And I'm just going by what I was asked to do. I've done it. I've done the best I can with basically informing you and enlightening you on the actual laws pertaining to this situation. And if you have any questions about these things, or you want me to work on behalf with the EPA on your behalf on this, I'd be more than willing to do it. I've worked with them in the past. But I would like to see this issue resolved. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you, sir.